All right, good evening. Welcome to the Papillion La Vista Community Schools Board of Education meeting for a snowy January 8th, 2024. So I hope everybody had a good holiday season and ready to get back to work here. So to begin with, on the call to order, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Witt? Here. Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Ms. Wood? Here. Ms. Fisher? Here. Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
All present.
Thank you very much. So we don't have any excused absences needed. Please note the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted up there on the wall when you come in. Appreciate that. Tonight, due to the weather, we've kind of trying to shorten a couple things here, and so under communications, item A, the recognition for Mr. Williams, we are not going to do tonight, and we asked the student council representatives to stay home this evening, so we're going to not do item B. So we will now move to item C for public comments not on the agenda, and we did not have any of those tonight. So moving right along, we'll go to item D, the superintendent's report. Dr. Rickley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey, members of the board, and for our members of the audience that are with us this evening. Thank you for braving the elements, and those that are watching on social media. As always, we appreciate you staying engaged with your Board of Education. As Mr. Bailey indicated, welcome back. Second semester. It's been kind of a choppy start with a short week last week and starting this week with a snow day. More on that in a little bit. But hope everybody had a great opportunity with family to catch their breath, count their blessings, and spend some time with family and loved ones. And certainly want to wish all of our student athletes, our students, our families, our clubs, all of those things that are just starting back up in earnest to have an outstanding second semester. Also wanted to introduce the newest member of our administrative team, who's in the back with Ms. Iman. As the board is aware, Ms. Iman has announced her retirement. Halfway through this school year, we think that she'll be done on or about February 1st. And after an extensive process led by our own Dr. Settles, we are pleased to offer the position to Dr. Christopher Villarreal, who joined the district last week and will be continuing to transition with Ms. Iman during the month of January. So, Dr. Christopher, thank you for joining us and thrilled to have you on the team. Also wanted to remind the board and community that the unicameral has reconvened its session. The legislative session started on January 3rd. Since it is the second year of the biennium, that means it's a short session, which means it's a 60-day session, which, depending on how the speaker decides to run the session, means the session will likely be done in mid-April. Now, typically in a short session, you have about 500 bills introduced, long session usually between 600 and 800, but we have seen a flurry of activity in less than a week. Bill introduction is always the first 10 days of the legislative session. Bill introduction ends on January 17th, so we're basically about a week and a half out from that, and a number of bills have already been dropped. So between Mr. Richards and former State Senator Tim Gay, who represents the district, we'll be giving you an update on a number of those bills once bill introduction period has come to a conclusion. Along those same lines, we've met with Governor Pillen a number of times, including most recently just last month in Elkhorn. Governor Pillen has made it a priority to meet with a number of school superintendents on an ongoing basis. We're deeply grateful for his support. We're deeply grateful for his willingness to dialogue with us. At our last meeting, we discussed, among other things, school budgets, finance, heavy emphasis on school safety. He had a lot of questions about how we utilize school resource officers, and he expressed concern about staff recruitment and retention. He's seeing what all of us around the room, all of us around the county, all of us around the state are seeing, and that is it's really hard to find good people, and it's equally hard to keep them once you have them. So we look forward to future conversations with Governor Pillen. Had a couple of fun events to close out first semester, and to start second semester, we had a number of DARE graduations. So about half of our elementary schools do DARE for sixth graders, and they do a sixth grade graduation. First semester, the remainder of the 16 elementary buildings will do that second semester, but that's always fun to see the collaboration between law enforcement in our schools and our sixth graders as they walk across the stage. And then we opened second semester with Karen Haase meeting with staff about professional boundaries. Unfortunately, that is one of those issues that we have to have regular ongoing conversations with our staff about, but I know that that conversation was well received. Before I conclude my superintendent comments, just want to let the community know that your superintendent has once again whiffed on the snow day call. We very easily could have had snow school today. I know the roads are certainly getting a little bit dicey right now. Please know that we do our very best to consult with not only local weather officials. We've had 2 conversations with National Weather Service in the last 24 hours, and we consult with the 557th Air Force Weather Wing. I've talked to the Weather Wing probably a half dozen times in the last 36 hours. And sometimes we get it wrong. And I understand that when I make that wrong call, it does put a burden on families as you're scrambling to find daycare. So please know that those aren't decisions we make lightly, and we do the best we can with the information we have. We will not be making a decision tonight. We have gotten into the habit at times about making the call the night before, and I understand there is inherent advantages to that so that you can align daycare, particularly if both parents work outside the home. I get that. But I also get that when we make an early morning call, more often than not, you get a better result, because days like this, we had 7 to 11 inches forecast at one point, and I don't know that we have an inch on the ground. So for our students out there, I know you are not pleased to hear about this, and maybe moms and dads aren't either, but there will be no decision tonight. Other metro districts may call tonight. The Air Force Base may have an announcement at 10 o'clock tonight, but we will not be making a decision until tomorrow morning. So stay tuned, but regardless of the decision, please be safe and stay warm. And with that, Mr. Bailey, I'd conclude our superintendent comments.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you wear many hats. A meteorologist is not one of them, so
Not very well, anyway.
Well, I don't think, like I said, I think you and I had some number of conversations, so I think we got to put this one on Mother Nature, because she didn't cooperate with the weather forecasters. So, all right, well, we appreciate it. Okay, next up, item E, board reports.
It was a long time ago. It seems like forever since we've been in session, but I did attend the English Language Arts Curriculum Review on the 20th of December, and it was an interesting experience to go around the room and see all of the different curriculum items that were there. And I'm still reading books that I think I read when I was in high school, so they must be really good books to have them still on the curriculum.
I haven't attended anything, but a little update since the last meeting with my board comments in regards to the Liberty 8th grade band. I noted that they had a performance and recorded to submit to potentially perform in front of at the Nebraska Bandmasters Association conference here coming up, and I'm pleased to announce that they were accepted to be one of the very few bands to go perform in front of that group. So Ms. Pites is extremely excited, and the students have a little bit of work to do to prepare. So I know they're looking forward to it, and I think it's the first time one of our middle school bands has been honored to go play. So congratulations to the 8th grade band. Get ready to practice.
I think that gives them a little motivation to practice and improve. Any other comments tonight? I know it's been a while. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure I know what I'm going to hear in this next one here. Committee reports, buildings, grounds, and finance.
Yes, so we did meet last Friday. A majority of what we talked about is part of our discussion items tonight in regards to kind of the wrap-up of the 2018 bonds and then the kind of kickoff of some of our projects for the new bond, as well as a potential opportunity with the community group that we're just in the beginning phases of exploring to see if something might work out that's mutually beneficial for all in the community.
All right, thank you very much. Human Resources and Student Services.
We have not met. Thank you.
Thank you. And Curriculum and Americanism.
We have not met.
All right, thank you very much. Again, we do not have any public comment forms, so we don't have any of that. So we'll move directly to Roman numeral 3 under action items, and the first will be annual business. Item A, election of officers. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Rickley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey, members of the board. Every year we do this same exercise. Even if the president is staying the same, very frequently we will change the officer positions. And I always like kind of sharing the details of how we do this so that, A, we're being consistent with established rules of order, but more importantly, so the public kind of knows what's going on. Selection of our leadership positions, specifically the officer positions, is something we just do once a year, so we think it's important that the public knows what we're doing and how the process will unfold. So if you watch our board meetings at all, you understand we have 6 elected board members, 4 officer positions at any time. We have a president, we have a vice president, we have a secretary, and we have a treasurer. I oversee this process for a very, very brief amount of time. There'll be a brief transition of power during which the new president will be selected, and then she or he will fill out the remaining slate of officers. Though there are 2 ways we can do this. We can either select a president, and then I turn the gavel back over to the president, so to speak, for him or her to continue selecting the other 3 officers. Or, conversely, the board sometimes chooses to do an entire slate of officers all at once: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. Either process is perfectly acceptable according to Robert's Rules of Order. Names do not require a second, but if we do have a motion, a second is required. So that's just a small procedural detail, but it's one that we wanted to get out there. So we may either nominate a president, we will do a voice vote, the president is selected, and the president takes back over for the remainder, or we could do all 4 officers at once. That is not my decision to make. That is the 6 board members' decision to make. So unless the board has any questions about how the process will unfold, I would accept either a nomination for the president or a nomination for this full slate of 4 officers.
All right, thank you, Dr. Rickley. As the outgoing president, I would like to nominate all 4 as a slate. I'd like to nominate Marcus Madler as president, Valerie Fisher as vice president, Sue Ann Witt as secretary, and Brian Lotus as treasurer.
I don't hear a second, but again, a second is not required. I'm going to give it just a moment to see if the board has any other selections they would like to contemplate. Hearing none. Ms. Baranko, roll call, please.
Mr. Lotus.
Yes.
Ms. Witt. Excuse me. Ms. Wood.
Yes.
Ms. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Bailey.
Yes.
Mr. Mather.
Yes.
Ms. Wood.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. I think at this time, Marcus, I think you and I will switch places, and you will take over as president. Congratulations.
As they are switching places, I'd like to congratulate on behalf of the board and administration Mr. Bailey for navigating some very choppy waters. These are not easy positions, and on behalf of the board and administration, can we give Mr. Bailey a round of applause for his service, please? And a new hearty congratulations to the new incoming president, Mr. Madler. Look forward to working with you in your new capacity.
Chair's a little taller than I'm used to, but I'll be fine. I'll have to lower it for next meeting. Well, I appreciate it. I'm extremely grateful to the rest of the board and look forward to continuing to work with all of you. I mean, luckily we got such great leaders around this table that I can lean on, including now 3 past presidents, for any help and assistance as I'm transitioning into this new role. So I appreciate that. And it's great, you know, to have past president as the vice president now too as well. So thank you all for this honor. Okay, so moving on to the under annual business for action by consent.
I'll make a motion to approve the action by consent as presented, although I do want to just ask, we do not need to read these into the record, do we, or do we? We have in the past. So.
We have in the past, but we are not required to do
Okay.
so that is completely up to you, Ms. Fisher.
Okay. I think if we've done it in the past, let's just stay that way again. So, and the action by consent includes authorizing the vice president to sign in absence of president, secretary, or treasurer, Authorize superintendent to sign for all monies, title funds, federal, state, and county monies and bank business. Authorize use of a facsimile stamp. Designate depositories: American National Bank, Pinnacle Bank, Bank of Nebraska, Bank of the West, PFM Asset Management LLC, U.S. Bank, First National Bank, Cobalt Federal Credit Union, and 5 Points Bank. And the last, designate Sarpy County or other papers of general circulation as official newspaper for notification of meetings. Additional posting locations if needed: Sarpy County Courthouse, both high schools, Papillion Public Library, La Vista Public Library, and district website.
I will second.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yep, we got a motion by Val and a second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion? No? Roll call, please.
Oh,
Yes.
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 Mic issue. All right, we'll share. You guys can share one of them? No, this is not going well. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So moving on to subcommittee assignments, item C. So we have
I don't believe we normally take action on this. It's mostly normally just for the board and their discussion. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah, so we have the three subcommittees that we go over every meeting, just FYI for the public. So we also, as part of the first of the year, we also reorganize our subcommittees. So if we have any new requests on the subcommittees, just let me know and we'll get the new assignments sent out. Okay. Any discussion on subcommittees assignments? No? Nope. Okay, moving on, item D, the 2024 board meeting dates. So we, as in our policy, we meet on the second and fourth Monday of every month on the months with 5 Mondays. That is an optional date that we can meet. But it looks like we need a motion to approve the board meeting dates as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 board meeting dates as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got the motion by Mr. Lotus and the second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion on the dates?
One thing that former President Bailey asked me to throw out to the board for consideration, Mr. Madler, you and I can certainly talk about it if people have any interest. In addition to these regular meeting dates, the board typically schedules at least one retreat per year. That's not on these lists of dates because it's really dependent on when the board wants to do that. We've traditionally done a back-to-school retreat in late July, early August. If necessary, we've done one in January. I don't believe administration has a recommendation. There's nothing urgent like a bond waiting for us necessarily, but be thinking if there are topics that you would like for a winter retreat, please let President Madler or Ms. Barranco know, but we do not have a retreat planned in the interim. But just wanted you to be thinking about that if you have items that you wish us to consider.
Okay. Roll call, please. So yep. Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, moving on to the monthly business. Item A, action by consent.
I'll make a
Motion to approve the action by consent for monthly business as presented.
second.
The motion by Ms. Fisher and second by Mr. Lotus. Any discussion? Okay, roll call. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Make sure nobody's confused. I just realized that.
Yeah. You didn't want my name attached to you? I get it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, moving on to item B, elementary staff computer replacement. I think, Lucas, you coming up to that one? Yep. Welcome, Mr.
Good evening. The action item in front of you is a continuation of the discussion item we had at the last board meeting all the way back in December regarding replacing our elementary staff devices. So you can see there's a cost there for 575 devices. That quantity replaces all 16 elementary buildings and also accounts for the future 17th elementary buildings to have machines on hand for that growth when needed. And it provides us the buffer we generally see statistically for needing those machines to have enough as staff come and go through the positions in our elementary buildings and be healthy there. These machines are on a 4-year cycle, so this is the year that they've been earmarked to be replaced and would continue that cycle in the next 4-year period. This is the 3rd year of the four-year cycle, so that cycle will start over again in 2 years with the high school replacement. It's high school central office, early childhood, and a few other locations such as Health Academy and things like that. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on this item.
Yeah, no questions, Lucas. Just, again, thanks for your proactive approach. I mean, especially with the way supply chains have been lately and the way that, I mean, these aren't just stagnant devices that are sitting on a desk and don't move. You know, these teachers are interacting with students. They're, you know, all over the place. They're moving. They're getting, you know, a little bit more activity use than just, you know, typing a memo or whatever. So really appreciate you setting up that long-term plan and then allowing us to budget for that technology program. So really appreciate all your thoughtfulness and planning. Makes it a little easier on us. So
Thanks, Mr. Lotus. It's certainly a team effort. Ms. Siri, Mr. Richards help with that and making sure we can sustain it. We also, it's a team effort even broader than that. Our staff help take care of the machines, and that goes back into the cycle. We sock that money that we get from the commercial sale of these when they're at the end of their useful life to us back into the process. So the residual value is really important, and our staff understands that and does a good job partnering with us to take good care of them. So.
I just have a quick, you may not be able to answer this question, but I'm curious about it. We saw supply chain issues really become paramount during the COVID era. We're past that, but we're still seeing supply chain issues mentioned constantly. Do we anticipate that's going to at some point go away, or is that going to be the new common thread that you're going to hear every time you want to place an order or get a bulk shipment of something in?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I would say it depends. I don't anticipate with this purchase we're going to see an issue. We've been in contact with Apple, our reps there. They've assured us we'll be okay. I'm never saying that won't happen again. We've seen it with some other goods, certainly not only in technology but in other departments of the district. I hear Mr. Billings talk about paper goods, for example. Certain kinds and quantities are hard to get, and I'm sure that's common for other things as well. So I think it's going to ebb and flow, just my crystal ball, right, wrong, or otherwise. And it'll be something we have to take on and deal with as those items come.
Well, I appreciate the forward thinking to get this done in plenty of time to guarantee we'll be able to handle that, to get these out to our staff before the end of the year.
Yeah,
So thank
that's
you
the
for
goal
efforts.
for this round for sure, is we want them to leave the end of the year with that for sure and be ready for new staff coming in for the 24-25 school year to have their machines as well.
I'll make a motion to approve entering into a purchase agreement with Apple Computer, Inc. for a total purchase amount of $591,100 to replace devices for staff at the elementary locations listed in the agenda item.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Witt and a second by Mr. Lotus. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Okay, moving on to section 4, discussion information items. Item A, Parkview Heights, Hickory Hill Elementary Schools construction projects. I think based on the number of chairs, I take it we're representatives from BCDM, Sampson, and Boyd going to be up here. All right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. Pat Carson again with BCDM. To my right, Jamie Whitfeld, who is the project manager and principal from BCDM for Hickory Hill, and then two of our partners from Sampson Construction, Matt Russell and Nate Castens. So we're happy to be here tonight to finally show you some of the work that's been taking place kind of behind the scenes. So Jamie's going to walk through everything. Feel free to ask questions along the way, or we can answer questions at the end. And then when we finish Hickory Hill, we'll do the same thing for Parkview.
Hello, everyone. So starting off with Hickory Hill, we're just showing here a site plan to kind of show the overall extent of the site. Hickory Hill is what we would call kind of a sister school to Anderson Grove. They have generally the same kind of floor plan layout. So a lot of the scope that we're doing at Hickory Hill is very similar to what was done at Anderson Grove. There's been a few tweaks. We had some meetings with the principals. And so there was a few tweaks we made to the office addition based on that conversation and a few other small things. But generally what you're going to see is kind of the same that we did at Anderson Grove. So from a site standpoint, we're removing an existing portable that's on site. We're going to do a little bit of work to the playground surfacing and redo that. And then you can see on the south end of the site, we're redoing the parking lot and entry drive, trying to maximize kind of the amount of queuing length that we can get for you guys on site. And I should show in blue off the building is where we're doing an addition. So as we move to the floor plan, here in blue off to the left is a new addition, again, very similar to Anderson Grove. It creates a new building entry, a new secure vestibule, a new office. So there's office, workroom, staff lounge, some staff restrooms in there, and then a new kitchen addition with some storage off the side too. Again, that's very similar to Anderson Grove with a few small tweaks. Then what you see in green at the gym, we removed the existing kitchen and storage rooms there. So the gym's going to get a little bit larger than it currently is now to provide some more cafeteria seating space. And then in the kind of bottom left, there's some green classrooms there. That's currently where the office is located. So once the addition's done and we move the office out, then we renovate that space into a kindergarten room. That'll have a new ADA accessible restroom off of it, and then also a learning center. That'll have an ADA restroom and then a couple of new staff restrooms as well. So there's some that are located outside of that office area. And then the bulk of the building in yellow is existing, and we'll do new finishes throughout. So it'll be new flooring, painting, new ceilings, and new lighting, as well as some new IT work throughout the building. And then this year, we've also brought along a fly-through rendering to kind of give an idea of what the space looks like. So here's from the outside as we're going toward that new main entry. So off to the left is where our office addition is and our kitchen addition. You're kind of seeing the new main entry doors here, and the existing building is off to the right. We'll kind of walk into the main entry, which again will be a secure vestibule. So as visitors come in, they'll be buzzed into here, and then they'll enter directly into the office area. Again, based on a conversation with the principal, we kind of flipped a workroom and a principal's room, but that's very similar to Anderson Grove. And now we're kind of back into the main entry and walking into the gym. So in the gym, we're doing painting. We're expanding it by removing the existing kitchen area and storage rooms. So that wall you're looking at there is kind of going to expand the space. And then now this is going into the kindergarten room. That's currently where the office is located at now. So this will get renovated. So you can see some of the floor finishes, casework marker boards, some excited students sitting in their chairs. And then in our corridor, again, new flooring, new painting throughout here. And then this is kind of showing one of the existing classroom suites, which again will receive new flooring, painting, and ceilings as well. Some more happy students.
So that suite, like, I'm sorry, is that, I think the suite is then locked and all the rooms inside are open?
Correct. That's how it exists now. There is a door into the suite that can be locked. So we're making sure, we're replacing the hardware so it can be locked from the inside of the classroom as well. And then this just takes us back out to the exterior of the main entry again. Okay. Yep, should look pretty similar, yep.
So again, this project had a guaranteed maximum price from Sampson is just a little over $7 million, which is right in budget for what we were hoping for. When we did CMR selection, we spent a lot of time talking about the value that both of our CMR partners would bring, both Sampson and Boyd Jones. And I know if Mr. Richards was here, he would tell you it was very impressive to see the thoughts that came from our team. We met very frequently. We talked about what would be the best ways to maximize dollars and also minimize construction duration. And frankly, we wouldn't have been able to do that without CMR partners. So again, that price for the GMP from Sampson that's being proposed is within the budget range, what we estimated. So the thought would be when you approve this, if you should approve this at your next meeting, that we would be all set to begin construction in the early spring and with the work completing for the 25 school year. And with that, what questions can we help answer?
Thanks for I love the mock-up video of it. And Mr. Carson, can you, since it's the first time that we are doing construction manager at risk and then having this, the guaranteed maximum price, can you talk about going down this road and having that guaranteed maximum price and having most likely or in theory fewer change orders going forward and those surprises?
Right. So included within the 7.1 million, I want to say, Matt, it's about 2.5%. 2.5% of that is a contingency. So if when we open up a wall, we see something that was unexpected and normally under the normal design build pathway, we'd come back and have to do a change order, that contingency money is there to help us get through that. The only reason we would probably come back and ask for a change order would be if along the way the district would decide to add what we call scope, to say, hey, here's a part of the project that we didn't think that we wanted to do, but could you give us a price, Sampson, to do it? And it will be brought back to you. But many times, I don't want to guarantee this and put our partners on the spot, but a lot of times when the project is over, there's money that comes back to the district. Again, don't want to promise how much or even that it will exist, but I can tell you that many times it's a sizable check that comes back from the unused contingency work, or you would have the option to take that contingency money and do some other small project within the school at your choice.
Thanks.
Pat, maybe this is a question for our building partners, but what are we seeing as a general trend with construction costs? We know there was a period of time because of escalating costs of steel, of concrete, of a variety of things, coupled with labor shortages that I think we're all probably trying to grapple with, that construction costs were just skyrocketing. Are we starting to see some of those costs of doing business stabilize? Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing as building partners.
I would definitely say they've stabilized a lot. There was a lot of interest for these jobs, or for this specific job. You know, we had some of the scopes, we would have 8 or 9 bidders on, some of the finished carpentry, drywalls, things like that. So there was a lot of subcontractor interest, which then also makes the numbers a lot more competitive when we have a lot of interest like that. So, yes, you're not seeing the jumps that you used to see. Yep.
You talked about the IT upgrades, and we had a recent shooting in Perry, Iowa for schools. Are the upgrades to that going to include the, and we don't need the specific details, but the potential communication tools that are being looked at by our IT department to help with safety and door locks and things like that?
Yes. I think that's the best way I want to answer that is yes, all those things are in the mix.
And Ms. Witt, one of the things that I believe Mr. Richards briefed Buildings and Grounds on is that a local glass company, Rainbow Glass, is going to be doing a pilot with some of the bullet-resistant, not bulletproof, bullet-resistant film, and we're going to look at some of the good, better, and best approaches, and we're actually going to do a pilot at one of our buildings to see cost, application, best bang for the buck in terms of that, and then based on the lessons learned from that application, we'll start applying that as part of the safety upgrade. So really important question.
Is that cost different than this because it's a safety
That
separate
cost
from-
is built in, it's
It
my
is?
understanding,
That is
Pat.
correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We going over, is that it for the group, or is there anything?
I think that's it for Hickory.
Okay,
Unless you have
Jeff's
any-
on
then we're gonna
Hickory.
switch
Yeah,
to
I was gonna
Parkview.
say, yeah, we have the other schools, okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, you
All
get a
right.
second round of me.
Yeah,
So joining me this time are Greg Steeren, also principal and project manager for this project for BCDM, and also Sean Yankee with Boyd Jones Construction.
welcome.
Thank you for having us. So Parkview Heights, there's a significantly less site work than at Hickory Hill. We're not redoing the parking lot there. But on the blue represents the building addition here as well. That does remove the portable classroom that's there currently. And then the yellow in the lower left-hand corner is resurfacing of the existing playground. And then there's a little bit of, by the front entrance, just a little bit of concrete work and sidewalk all around the blue addition. There's also site fencing as part of these around the playgrounds to kind of enclose the site that's included in the cost that you'll see in just a couple minutes. So similar to Hickory Hill, the green is kind of heavy renovation, blue is addition, and yellow is a little bit lighter renovation. The gray down on the lower portion of the plan, there's really not much work. That was significant work in the 2012 bond with the kitchen and preschool. So within that yellow area, the plan is predominantly finishes, technology, upgrades, lighting, ceilings, et cetera. The green area is where we're really, that's gutting that area pretty significantly and making those classrooms that are currently in the maybe 600 square foot range up to about 800 square foot apiece. So that's really in the line of what we did at La Vista West and G. Stanley in the previous bond, bringing those classrooms up to district standard. So the blue addition then is really, there's no gross add of classrooms to this building. That's really replacing what was in that green area. That's what it's taken to get those rooms larger. So within this, we're also creating a little bit more building storage, mother's room, additional faculty restroom, et cetera. Again, bring Parkview up to the district standards at the elementary level. And as we get into we have a similar video here that I'll walk you through, but at the front entrance here, again, the main structure of that was done in 2012, but there are some of the same security upgrades that we're looking at doing within that front entrance. And we met with the principal here as well, and you're seeing some finish upgrades and a new reception desk. As we move into the media center, we really work to get the ceiling up higher and get some specialty lighting in there. Just make that a more inviting space in general. Once we get to the multi-purpose gymnasium, new flooring, painting, operable partition, and so kind of making that a lot brighter space and a more athletic flooring surface. So this is the addition now, trying to get natural lighting into that corridor between the addition and the classrooms, and the casework kind of throughout, bringing that up to that same level. And then as we go around to the exterior of the building, again, this is where that portable classroom currently sits. There's also mechanical equipment on both the east and west side of the building that's on the grade that's going away and is integrated within the building. So.
Thanks for going over Parkview. I know, we've talked about in these meetings before, the Parkview footprint is smaller. Can you walk through kind of the envisioned setup for the teams to get in there without too much disruption for the staff and the students?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. We spent a lot of time both working with subcontract partners, but communicating with Brett, communicating with the school to come up with a phasing plan that would allow us to complete the construction while also making sure we were really separated from students. And we feel really good about our plan that primarily has us focusing on the addition first, so that we can then utilize that space for phasing of the existing facility. And it really just lends itself to being able to complete the project in a short amount of time and maximize the 2 summers that we've got available, this first summer in 24 and then also finishing the work in 25 so that that project's completed by August of 25 as well.
Thanks.
And sorry, one additional one to kind of supplement off of that. I know during the CMR process, some of the proposals, some of the sites, we were throwing around the ideas of continuing to use some sort of a portable in order to rotate classes. Are we doing that at either project or just one?
Yeah. So to add to that, we were able to include the use of two classroom portables on the Parkview Heights site. And that's going to that really allowed us to condense the schedule and reduce the overall cost of the project. Ended up coming in under the bond budget on the project with kind of that reduced duration. And we felt like that helped us to really kind of create that clear separation so that we didn't, have as much interaction, really kind of condensed our phases into specific areas by having those 2 sets of 2 classroom portables just south of the building there. Yeah.
Maybe just for clarity, that will not be the case at Hickory Hill. Hickory Hill has the advantage of having more floor area to work with. Just really quick, same thing. The target number you see is slightly higher here because it did have a higher budget. That renovation, that deep gutting renovation of the 60s building is just more expensive at Parkview. But again, it's within the budget range, and as Sean mentioned, it's really the same timeline as what we talked about for Hickory, where the work will start this spring, summer, and it will wrap up for the fall of 25.
I think this is great to be able to see the walkthrough, but for those of us who have been in and out of Parkview throughout all the years we've been on the board or been around, we know those classrooms are so small. So it's going to be wonderful to see first the addition go on and then to be able to renovate those classrooms and make them more usable and more like the rest of the classrooms in the district. So this is a project, I'm always excited about every project, but at this particular building, this is exciting to see that we're finally getting the opportunity to move forward and bringing that building more in line with our other elementaries when it comes to class size. So got a big thing on, in front of you to get that done, but I like the plan. The others asked questions that I was going to ask too, because even adding the new classrooms, we're not adding additional classrooms. My question was going to be, how on earth are you going to get that renovation done without keeping the portables there? So thank you for asking that question, because that explains how we're going to be able to do that. So exciting project. Both of these are going to be wonderful things for the families that live in those areas and send their children to these schools. So exciting to see the projects getting started.
One of the other factors that makes this a little bit unique, I agree with everything that you said, Ms. Fisher, is our Head Start program will be moving indoors, and we think that that's really important. And the other factor that applies to both projects that we're very proud of is Mr. Richards has done a really good job of meeting not only with the building principal but the staff, because the truth of the matter is those teachers and those principals know more about those buildings than we ever will. They live there all day, every day. They know what works. They know what doesn't. So really grateful for Brett taking the time to share these proposals so that they can kind of tweak them. And Pat and Greg, certainly their team have been a big part of that too. So thank you so much for making that a priority.
Any other questions for the group? No. And I think we have Tara and Trumbull next meeting coming up. So
Yeah, we're going from nothing to everything.
perfect. We are looking forward to it. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, and in an effort to hopefully beat some of the wet roads from turning into ice, we're going to move items B in C to a future board meeting, so human resources and student demographics report, and the voluntary separation update. We are not going to do this meeting. We'll move those items to a future board meeting. So that leaves us with item D, review of policy 1000, public relations and communications.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Madler. As always, this first discussion item is simply for distribution. That is, if the board would take a look at the 1000 series and let us know, Ms. Iman in particular, but they can also go to Ms. Barranco. For our public that may be watching at home, we review our policy catalog every single year. January being the first month of the calendar is the 1000 series, February being the second month is the 2000 series, so on and so forth. So please know that that is an ongoing thing. And board members, if you have any suggestions, please let us know, and we will get on that immediately.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rickley. Moving on to section 5, future board calendar. January 10th, 2024, liaison lunch at Golden Hills with Ms. Witt at 11:30. January 15th, 2024, there's no school, staff development day. But Mr. Bailey, you doing a liaison lunch that day? Yeah, okay, just making sure. Liaison lunch at Hickory Hill with Mr. Bailey at noon. January 18th, 2024, liaison lunch at Carriage Hill with Ms. Wood at 11:30. We have January 21st, 22nd, 2024, the NASB Legislative Issues Conference in Lincoln. I know I'm going to that. I think a handful of others are as well. January 22nd, and that night, 2024, the board, our next Board of Education meeting at 6 p.m. Here at Central Office. And seeing no further business in front of the board, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:46. Thanks.